You know, despite how 2K players feel about 2K25, 2K out here still winning. They're out here breaking sales records and they're even surpassing their projections. You know, one of the best ways to find out where a company is headed, how you guys are going to end up like receiving future iterations of 2K, the best way to do that is to follow the money. And that's what we finna do here in this video, as 2K recently released their earnings report. And what I learned from reviewing this earnings report is that the numbers don't seem to align with the way the 2K community feels. We finna get into all the details. If any of you guys are new here, drop a like, drop a sub, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's get to the video.
It's AllCity. Load up that clip.
Oh man, what's good, y'all? I'm AllCity, as always. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Firstly, I want to take a look at this quick highlight that 2K kind of sets up in presentation format for their investors when they're presenting their earnings report. As you guys see, some of the key highlights here is the best-selling basketball game, over 150 million units sold worldwide. 2K25 is one of Take-Two's top contributors when they consider recurrent consumer spending. Those are like microtransactions when you guys buy VC or you're purchasing clothing, things like that. And one other key highlight that 2K felt was necessary to put forth, it says nearly 1 billion games of basketball played in NBA 2K25 already, with more games per player than ever before. And I find that a little bit ironic. Although I have spent a ton of money already on 2K25, I'm playing this game less than any other 2K that I've ever had. So as I mentioned, those were the key highlights that 2K felt was important to share with their investors during their earnings report. What I found the most intriguing is that their earnings report and what's presented to investors, it doesn't seem to align with the consensus from the community, like the way the community feels about gameplay and how they feel when they get on the game. So that's what I wanted to do initially to start out this video, is kind of gauge how the community feels, how you guys feel about 2K25. To help me do that, I'll reference a few posts here. The first post from AllCity Vice Envy. He adds me and says 2K25 feels like the development of gameplay went backwards in every category. And he's just speaking on his feelings, what he experiences when he gets on the game. He says dribbling, perimeter, plus interior defense, blocking, stealing, shooting. The list is long. This can't be a next generational video game company, right? I just don't get it. I would like to reference this next post from Shoot. He says, after playing 2K25 for 1,000 hours, me personally, I think I have some like 300 hours logged in. Shoot has been running and gunning. He's already got 1,000 hours logged. He says, I've come to the conclusion that the biggest problem with this game is you can't separate comp from casual. I've seen veteran threes go 4 for 10. Everyone just catch and shoot to be more consistent. After a certain time, you don't get better at the game. It's capped. And he wraps up this first post saying, after you get cap breakers, Patty and Steve Francis, the game is done. And I imagine that you get those animations at starter 4. I'm almost there myself, but I imagine you get those animations, and after you get your cap breakers, you're just like, well, what's the incentive for continuing to play 2K25? You guys let me know how you feel about that in the comments. I'm going to continue on with the next post. And there's a message that Shoot ended up responding to. Pistachio says, everything feels RNG. Shooting, loose balls, real player percentage on layups, dribbling, input delay multiplies it all. I still play, just not as much. I just love basketball and playing with the homies, no diddler. But Shoot, he ends up responding, which is, I gotta prepare y'all because it's kind of zesty. But Shoot says, yeah, loose balls, also a very big problem. 24. Oh man, bear with me, y'all. He said, he says loose balls are a very big problem. 24 loose balls wasn't this bad. Man, how your name is gonna be Shoot, and then you leave in such a zesty comment like this? But I'll do my best to finish it off. He says, yeah, loose balls also a very big problem. 24 loose balls wasn't this bad. I don't know what happened. And yeah, ball is life. Hey, yo. No diddy. You know, guys, one of the main reasons why I had stopped playing so early, I made so many builds very early, which is why I spent so much money so early in the game. Within the first month, I already had spent $1,000, but since then I haven't made another transaction with 2K25. And I think I was able to very quickly see from making all those builds and playing at different positions that the game is hella RNG, and a lot of the stuff where 2K likes to, with each iteration of 2K, during that marketing process when they're trying to get you to buy the game, they often say things like, we're giving control back to the player. But in NBA 2K25, I realized that we have, as players, we have the least amount of control. And I totally understand that 2K is an animation-based game, but when we trigger those animations, we fully relinquish control to 2K. And a lot of the stuff that we end up seeing out there is we're just not the ones doing it. And to help me get that point across, Black Cobra ended up sending out this post here. Black Cobra says, if I put up 30 points, all from layups, and I'm using real player percentage, I didn't score any points. 2K did. While 6 ended up responding saying facts, same with the dudes on low risk. You didn't even make that shot. 2K did. Black Cobra responding to that says, I can't respect it. LOL. Sure, I can get myself open, but anything from that point onwards, 2K gets the credit for, make or miss. I'm not responsible for making or missing those shots. And that's exactly how I felt when I was playing 2K25. I said, you know, this ain't us, man. And I was watching the homie Badge Plug's video, and he was showcasing a bunch of different clips. Shout out to Badge Plug, by the way. He was showcasing a bunch of different clips of goofy stuff that's taking place on 2K25, and people getting these real superhero type of animations where they're completely beat. And you got to do driving to the rack, and he gets this super teleportation glitch animation to get a block on the guy even though he was 10 steps behind. There's little stuff like that that just didn't make much sense to me, and those scenarios were happening way too often. The game feeling like RNG was just at the forefront of gameplay, and I picked up on that ASAP from making so many builds so early in the game, trying out so many different positions. It seemed like every single position suffered the same fate. But that's neither here nor there. That's been my own personal experience on 2K25. I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys think about the current state of gameplay, as 2K just released their earnings report touting how much money they're making and how far ahead they are from their projected sales goals. I would like to deep dive into some key points of interest on this earnings report. And before we do that, I would like to remind you guys on a couple things. Firstly, if you want one of your comments or posts added to one of these videos, if it's something of interest for a video that I might consider making, at me on X, and when you get on over to X, make sure you drop a follow. Secondly, if you're tired of running with randoms, you're looking for players to run with, come on out and join our Discord. We'd love to have you. Over 30,000 players. I'm sure you guys will find teammates to run with. The link for Discord will be in the description below. And third, more important to this video, I want to remind you guys that the top 2 execs at Take-Two have a contract in place until 2029 that states they get a tremendous bonus or for your microtransactions. So every time that you guys buy VC, you're putting money directly into the pocket of Take-Two's top 2 execs. And the last time I reported on this, each one of them got about $30-something million. That was just the bonus, and that was just to help give you guys a perspective on the type of money that 2K is bringing in off of your back. And I'm ashamed to admit it, but I'm one of those contributors, as I've already spent $1,000 on 2K25, although I have no intention of spending another dollar on this game. So this is 2K's earnings report, and I want to go over some key points in this report. I reviewed the whole thing, but I know a lot of this is of no interest to you guys, so I just want to go over some key highlights so you guys can learn about how it impacts you as a 2K player. As you guys see, it says Take-Two Interactive Software Inc. reports results for fiscal second quarter 2025. I just highlighted this here. It says 1.47 billion net bookings with outperformance from Grand Theft Auto and Borderlands franchises. And those are just net booking. And in case you guys didn't know, net bookings are like the total amount of products or services sold minus cancellations and deletions, things like this. And they continue on by saying company updates fiscal year 2025 outlook and reiterates expectation for net bookings of 5.55 to 5.65 billion. And they're basically saying they're outperforming their projected goals and they have to increase that number. As you guys see in the management comments, it says here, I am pleased to report that we delivered strong second quarter results. Our net bookings from 1.47 billion were at the top of our guidance range, meaning they had certain projections and this was at the top. They didn't even really expect to get there. It says driven by the continued success of Grand Theft Auto and Borderlands franchises. And our operating results surpassed our plans, largely due to a shift in the timing of marketing expenses within the year, says Charles Zelnick. And the reason why I kind of put emphasis on the marketing expenses and how they timed it is because marketing expenses are Take-Two Interactive's #1 line item expense. They spend their most money on marketing, and it seems to be proving fruitful as each year they continue to break records. And that's all rooted in the way Take-Two handles marketing. I want to continue to share some of the thoughts from Take-Two so you guys understand how their minds are working. It says, our execution has been consistent and our teams continue to make great progress advancing our development pipeline. Accordingly, we are reiterating our fiscal year 2025 net bookings guidance range of 5.55 to 5.65 billion. And that's their trajectory goal. They go on to say, we are confident that we will achieve sequential increases and record levels of net bookings in fiscal years 2026 and 2027. They're already banking on you guys spending even more money. Some of you guys are like, well, where does 2K fit in all of this stuff? I'm gonna show you guys that 2K24 and 2K25 are one of Take-Two's largest contributors when it comes to recurrent consumer spending. And recurrent consumer spending currently makes up 80% of Take-Two's net revenue. We'll move on over into the next page here. It says second quarter fiscal 2025 financial and operational highlights. We'll be reading from this area right here. It says total net bookings grew 2% to 1.47 billion as compared to 1.44 billion during this time last year. It goes on to say that net bookings, and remember, net bookings are like the total amount of products and or services sold minus any cancellations and stuff like that. So it goes on to say net bookings from recurrent consumer spending grew 6% and accounted for 81% of total net bookings. The largest contributors to net bookings were NBA first on the list. The largest contributors, NBA 2K24 and NBA 2K25, followed by Grand Theft Auto Online and Grand Theft Auto 5, Toon Blast, and so on and so forth. Now we're going to move on to the next bullet point. GAAP net revenue increased 4% to 1.35 billion as compared to only 1.3 billion this time last year. I know some of you guys hear 4% and you're like, well, look at that. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars when you hear 4%. It goes on to say recurrent consumer spending increased 8% and accounted for 80% of the total GAAP net revenue. And again, the largest contributors to the GAAP net revenue were NBA 2K24 and NBA 2K25. And in the last bullet point, which I'll reference really quickly just to kind of get you guys an idea of what's going on with 2K and their parent company Take-Two, it says GAAP net losses was 365.5 million, which equates to about $2.08 per share. That's even down. Even their losses are down. It says when trying to compare this year to last year, this year's net loss was 365.5 million, $2 a share, comparing that to 543.6 million and $3 a share for this time last year. And to pretty much put this in layman's terms, 2K's losses are down and their gains are way up. They're beating their sales goals and they're even surpassing the projections that they have put in place. And these gains are primarily rooted in the way in which they handle marketing. One of the main reasons why I felt it was important for you guys, the 2K players, to learn and understand this stuff is because, as you guys saw, recurrent consumer spending, it accounts for about 80% of their total net. Recurrent consumer spending is what you guys spend after you done purchase the game, meaning that only 20% of their net revenue comes from the actual purchase of the game. They make their money after you purchase the game and you're making your builds and you're buying VC and things like that. Both 2K24 and 2K25 are the top contributors toward that 80% of net revenue. And from what I see from these numbers, what this means for 2K players in the future, and I think it's the very near future, we will no longer be purchasing a 2K game. It'll be there just like a Fortnite. I imagine with these type of numbers, the production of hard copies will very soon be gone. And I also imagine that it's in 2K's best interest, looking at these numbers, to make the game free to play and just get as many players as possible on the game to help further increase those numbers that are already proving dominant. 80% of Take-Two's revenue coming from recurrent consumer spending, the money that you guys spent after you done got the game. Hopefully you guys found this stuff as interesting as I did. If any of you guys are new here, consider dropping a like and a sub on your way out. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Easy, y'all. If you guys are tired of running with randoms and you're looking for players to run with on NBA 2K, come on out and join the AllCity 2K Discord. The link will be in the description below. Find players and get runs now. Drop a like and drop a sub on your way out. Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Easy, y'all.